Marco Dominic Gonzalez. This is part 3. I'm going to call it The Field. 2/23/2014, 04:38 p.m. But that summer taught me a lot, man. I turned 16 at the end of as I started my junior year at a new high school, and I was 15 years old. And $335 is a lot of money to a 15-year-old. That taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about farming. It taught me that this is not the kind of work I want to do with my life. You know, it's hard work. Farming's tough, man. And I remember I was that kid also in high school that liked to watch FarmAid. I used to watch. My dad got me the pay-per-view of John Cougar Mellencamp because the money went to FarmAid. And I remember after that, I said, Dad, I want to watch John Cougar's FarmAid. And my dad would give me the pay-per-view. And I could watch it. And all that money went to the farms. And then when I went into the Marine Corps, we also watched. And I was with the white hicks that were farm boys watching John Cougar's FarmAid, dude. And they're like, dude, you're Mexican. I can't believe I said, dude, you don't know. Las Cruces mostly Anglo people, man. I'm not raised with a bunch of Mexican people, dude. I'm raised with a lot of Anglos, like you, a bunch of freaking white boys, man. But I used to watch the FarmAid with them because I did that in high school and I worked on the farm. So I got it. We can all pick. And I'm just saying these are the facts, what happened, and this is what I've learned from it. But it all stems from that it's a cross business to not be fair. And even in that, because later I learned, you know, it's like, especially now with the Farm Bill, I'm all for protecting the farmers. I've been supporting them my whole life. But it has to go hand in hand, because remember, it's one thing to protect the farmer. It's another thing to protect a corporation involved in farming. It's not like it's the actually guy. You know how you watch Downton Abbey and they have a little farm and that's not the guy that money is protecting. That farmer is protecting the corporation involved in farming. I have a problem with that. They'll go right to the farmer, like John Cougar Mellencamp's thing. Actually, that money would go right to the farmer themselves, so that they can survive these winter and have the labor and supposedly pay them a good wage. My whole thing on that FarmAid when I was a kid, and also, was that they were going to give the laborers a fair wage. But I used to have these discussions because I worked on a farm, and I worked on a farm where people were paid less than me, a 15-year-old boy, and that always bothered me. And I would have these conversations, but you know, the white boys always say, "Oh no, man, you don't know, back on the farm, you know, in Kentucky, they pay people good. And these are white, you know, they're not getting the Mexican out in the bus in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Actually having to get a farmhand that's a white guy, and they pay him a decent wage. So I said, well, I'm glad about that. I said, I'm happy about that. I said, Gonzalo, you come to the farm, little farm. I'm like, no, dude, I ain't do no farm, dude. I'll drink beer with you. We can drink some beer and eat some carne asada. And I ain't gonna do that hard labor, dude. I've been there, done that. But I've always had these conversations. But when you see that and you live it and you have that experience, I'm sure other people who have worked in farming, and you know when people are exploited and there's not a lot they can do about their life situation. It comes to education, and it also comes to poverty. It also comes to oppression. They're oppressed there, they come here, and they are oppressed here. That's why this thing with immigration can't hurt the worker, can't hurt the laborer, can't hurt that man that's being oppressed there from poverty to come here to work hard, because he's oppressed here too, and she, because it was not a bunch of old men out there. There was old women there too. It's 1980.